Hi. I want to talk to you just a little bit about uh, good magic and bad magic. I'm always being asked if I'm a good witch or a bad witch. I never quite know how to answer that question. That's a hard one to answer. I've started saying something like, okay, you've seen not Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, right? Everybody has seen The Wizard of Oz. Well, Glinda, the good witch, she's beautiful, she speaks well, she flies around in a bubble. Everybody thinks she's just wonderful. Well, who do you think dropped that house on her sister, the Wicked Witch, and killed her? Okay, that's not such a good thing. Okay. Then, to top it off, she could have told Dorothy at that moment that she could go home by clicking her heels, but no, she didn't do that. She made her go through hell just to get to the Emerald City, then tells her she can go after she's put her through all of this. Well, I don't consider that very nice either. So, I think that it is a matter of perspective. Good magic and black magic. I consider black magic something where you are causing harm to someone. If you are causing harm to someone, or if you are trying to make someone do something against their will, bending their will, binding their will, that is what I consider black magic. I have crossed that line a time or two, but I have done that because it was necessary to protect someone from being hurt or killed in a couple of situations. The intentions, I know you hear this a million times, but the intentions that go into your spells, those are the ingredient that makes it or breaks it. I never, ever cast when I am angry, ever. I can't, because I have a bad temper. If I was to cast a spell against someone when I was really pissed off, my life's bad enough. I don't need more shit coming to me. So, I don't do them unless I have to. I don't consider myself a black magic practitioner. I do practice dark magic. There is a difference. I can practice magic that goes right along that line. But I know how. I also know how to keep myself in check when I'm doing that. It takes a lot of self-control. I don't recommend black magic unless you are experienced. It has such a bad connotation. Black magic. Okay. When you think of black magic, you think of blood sacrifice and all of that stuff. Well, of course that is black magic, but there are other forms of black magic that don't go to that extreme. If you feel confident enough, you can practice those, but you have to be very careful. I don't like the terms, like I said before, good witch or bad witch. I'm just a witch. I do what's necessary. Someone has to do certain things, and I just happen to be one of those that is willing to take on that responsibility. I fully know how big that responsibility is. Black magic is, and I'm going to get in trouble if I go that route. Oh, it's difficult to talk about black magic because people don't want to hear about it. They don't want to discuss it. I discuss it. I don't practice it very often, but I do. I have. All I can tell you is that I know in my heart that I'm a good person. I know that I do not mean any ill will to anyone. And knowing that, I don't feel like any of my spells are black magic, because my intentions are not to destroy or to cause death or pain or inflict any illness, things like that. I don't do that. I'm not saying that that's considered black magic. That's up to you. It really is a matter of perspective until you get into the really hardcore stuff, which is quite obvious. Once again, it's just one of those things that you can feel inside. That's me. If it doesn't feel right, I don't do it. If I'm not confident enough that I can be objective, I don't do it. The consequences can be too high. Remember that whenever you're doing your spells. Always, always. Black magic and white magic. Okay, look. There's no such thing as just pure white magic. I'm sorry. But every action has a reaction. And sometimes it's out of your control if it's good or bad. So you have to remember that whenever you're doing your spells. Sometimes they backfire. Sometimes they don't go the way they're supposed to. And there's a reason for that. Either you've done it wrong, or you've said something the wrong way in the spell. There's so many different things. But the one thing that I have learned is when I do go in to do a spell, I go in fully prepared, protected, calm, and without any prejudice towards whoever I'm working with. I pass no judgments on anyone, ever. It's not my job. It's not my job, and it's not my place. You do what you feel is right. If you feel that what you're doing in the long run is for the higher good, then it is. That's the intention that will go into that spell, because that's what you feel in your heart, that it is going to make a positive difference. That can't be considered black magic. I just don't see how it can. So that's where I get the perspective. It depends on what it's going to cost. And I'm not talking money. So think about those things when you're casting, because magic is very serious. Magic really works. You don't have to believe it to work. But what you do does affect someone, something. So Keep that in mind. Be safe. And always, always, always think about the higher good of everyone concerned in anything that you do. It doesn't always look like it pays off, but eventually it does. So, take care. Blessed be.